Hello, my name is David Ostrowski, and the title of my talk today is Semantic Filtering in Social Media for Trend Modeling. To give an overview, I'd like to first talk about, present an introduction for the work, review some of the methodologies that are currently used, present my case study and the related experiments, and then go over the conclusion and future work. So, introduction: social media, as we all know, is highly reflective of real-life situations. It's been utilized for trend identification for a number of reasons, among that being unbiased, real-time, and frequently updated. And as such, it displaces traditional multimedia. Our goal here is to identify consumer demand and provides support for sales forecasting, customer relationship management, and this is accomplished through leveraging a theoretical sales model concept of the referred to as the purchasing funnel. Here is a brief overview. So, purchase funnel, if you're not familiar, is a theoretical sales model of how people buy goods, and this starts with some awareness of a product, and then perhaps some opinion that is formed in interest, and then beyond that there is a desire, and then some type of purchase action. Characterization here is really trying to indicate that desire to support the development of a sales model to support sales forecasting. So why Twitter? Well, to start, it's extremely popular. Over 500 million active users, and breaking down to about 430 million tweets per day, 1.6 million searches per day. It's very concise, has a limited message size, 140 characters, making it very easy to process, and it's a strong track record in terms of research, allowing for trend prediction in terms of elections, movies, and calculating the spread of diseases. So in all these messages, there is a big challenge to be able to derive a filtered signal. Just to give you an idea of characterization of the Twitter messages from the entire Twitter firehose feed, all the messages being generated in Twitter. A company called Peer Analytics did a study looking overall at the tweets, messages, and categorize exactly what type of categories these Twitter messages fall into. And they found that almost 4% of that was news-related articles being spread around, 3% being spam, another 6% being self-promotion, 40%, almost half, just being mindless chatter, got out of bed today, blah blah blah. 40% people asking questions about something, and 8% people retweeting other messages. From my personal experience, automotive based, we have just about the same in terms of just completely worthless information, and close to half, about 45%. 35% is very news driven, and as such it includes forwarded news articles and classified ads. 15% displays an actual interest towards a product, and 5% expresses the most valuable information at high interest or desire towards a purchase. So really the best that we can do from our observations, and it goes hand in hand with some of the external studies, such as with Peer Analytics at about 20%. So the goal here is to really see how good we can get at removing that 80% to derive a good signal. acting upon some of the established research in terms of supporting Twitter filtering. It can be described into about 3 different basic categories. To start, an amount of work has been done around simple filtering, looking at making associations between social networks, working directly with keyword counts, and also looking at hashtags. We didn't see as much value in terms of hashtags, but looking at specific keywords, more importantly identifying the most interesting keywords, gives the biggest bump, improvement in terms of generating the message. And then a number of efforts have been performed around, including some using pointwise mutual information, specific mutual information, TVF, IDF metrics. And then beyond that, or in conjunction with that, relying on sentence structure, looking at natural language processing, base support, classifiers, etc. So from the existing categories out there, I derived my own step-by-step method, which included digging into these 3 main categories. First, looking at ground truth, or just the unique identification of a specific vehicle line. Then looking at some of the direct filtering methods, relying on basic empirical search, and then some of the metrics-based driven to look at from the perspective of separate categories, and then more of an indirect method using a variant of Bayesian classification. So the empirical filtering was about the anticipation of a purchase event, again, back to the purchasing funnel concept. So we used somewhat of a trial method using high-frequency words from the sample and established a taxonomy of words that appeared to be very relevant to our interests. So here we looked at buy, test, drive, purchase, these types of words, and from that established a collection which we applied to the Twitter Firehose messages. In the semantic filtering, 3 categories fit very well for our use, including negation, hashtags, and humor. And some of the techniques of matching these words also included prior speech tagging with regular expressions. The classification step relied on Bayesian filtering, or a variant of that Fisher classification actually, relying on a training sample of 500 Twitter messages that identifies a strong desire to purchase. We use the Fisher to identify messages to identify for 2 separate categories. Someone's going to purchase or not. So this is what the overall diagram looks like. The internet, Twitter Firehose, empirical filtering, semantic categories, knowledge base. And here's another view of the thing. So looking at our case study, we're looking at the demand for the forward focus. We looked at the Twitter Firehose, all messages generated through Twitter, October 1st to September 28th. It grew to monthly. So in the ballpark, we had about 200 billion messages starting off with. Here we try to characterize the anticipation of purchase event. First ground truth keyword is essentially forward focus. For the period October 12th, generating about 20,000 to 45,000 messages a month. Now considering the collection between forward focus we also had looked at just using Ford in and of itself. But it's to note that the inclusion of both of them, because looking at focus by itself increased the percentage to 99% versus 20% positions with only focus. So we have a lot of messages that didn't fit into the classification here. So towards empirical filtering, the highest performing feature sets were included by drive, will, trade. This was compared graphically to Ford Focus. It's presented correlation sales 0.7, 0.68, 7773. So this is what those filtered messages volumes compared month over month to monthly sales. So you can see most of the peaks, in most cases, were matched with the Twitter volumes. In terms of semantic categories, try to remove a lot of messages that disrupted the entire signal, including humor and some that we felt were interesting to support, which included emotion. And then also removing those negative. Also correspondingly looked at, investigated, looking at negation to negatively correlate to sales, but we didn't actually do that. Thank goodness, right? So in the classification step, we traded positively from manually derived collection of messages that became demand, and traded negatively against messages that did not logically appear to be related to sales. Let's say advertising for these vehicles. Message is just irrelevant, sarcasm. So this is a comparison between empirical, semantic, and classifier based methods, each one including, building on the last. So with the semantic, it's also including the empirical, and the classification also including the last two. And here's the overall volumes that are compared for that filtering period. Among the top 5 awards. Here's a correlation of levels of filtering to sales volumes. And it shows the sales is made with filtered data. Thank you very much.